was the featured speaker at the MLK breakfast in Jackson a few weeks ago. He's a proud graduate of Jackson High School and currently a product solutions consultant at Google, Aidan Sova. Good morning, Aidan.
Morning.
Good morning, you two. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, great to have you.
Did you know Aidan is the youngest ever elected black official in the city of Ann Arbor?
Any office, right?
Yes.
Any office.
Isn't that crazy?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I still, to this day, really just marvel at that. I went through the local historians, the state level archivists, and I'd asked the question of, is this real, I suppose? And they all verified it. I feel so honored.
Yeah, he's trustee and treasurer of the Ann Arbor District Library. So you would think, Ann Arbor's a town where there have been a lot of groundbreaking things happening in politics. Here it is, 2020. What year were you?
I graduated college in 2021, and then I was elected in 2023 as a 23-year-old. And when I sort of initially had raised my hand to say, I love the library. Growing up, I had such a fostered dependency on the Jackson local library. This is something I'd be interested in doing. A lot of people were very positive in response of, this is something that you very much could contribute to, but you're so young. You are so young. This is perhaps something that you are not as well versed in, but I had a number of supporters and advocates early, and this sort of cascaded from there, and here we are.
I really was able to understand it listening to your talk at the breakfast and how you relied a lot on the public library growing up. You didn't have a lot, you and your family, and you relied on that library. So it's awesome to see you give back in this way.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that, especially too when we think about the summertime for a low-income student or a community member. It's really difficult because you are quite literally hot, right? You perhaps don't have air conditioning, don't have the programming that you once would during the school system. Perhaps you're food insecure as well. And even just intellectually at a critical age in time, you're bored, right? So the library is a very natural place for us to go.
That's one of the things that impressed me with your talk at the chamber event was your childhood, and I never knew that about you. You really were disadvantaged and had a lot of struggles. You and your mom growing up with, you didn't have a lot.
I think too, when I now share my story, it feels like I have a responsibility to be open about those experiences because I'm very acutely aware of, moving from, I lived on the corner of 2nd and Middle Street for close to 20 years. The opportunities that I have today and continue to hold, I very much owe it, I feel, to those community members. It wouldn't have been for me enough to work at Google, live a very comfortable life, and then just sort of have my days end there.
Right.
It's very important to me.
Service work, as you say, important. I know you're involved with Grow Jackson and some other initiatives. I want to ask you, do you have, what's your future dream job?
Sure. I've been asked that a lot, quite recently. So in terms of my 9 to 5, I work at Google, and I'm very proud to do so in this sort of AI and consulting space. A lot going on there, as I'm sure you can imagine. And additionally, the library board as well as an elected official and a number of state and federal task force initiatives. My dream job, I will say that I'm unsure. I very much would love the opportunity to continue representing Ann Arbor, but also my hometown, right? I currently live in Ann Arbor, but Jackson has me as a frequent visitor because my mother's still here. And I still feel very plugged in and active and in this community. And so I really ultimately, if I could find a way to just help people 24/7, and that is what I'm paid for, that would be my dream.
You're still in school, right?
Yes, so I'm a master's student at the University of Pennsylvania. I graduate in December. Very excited about that. I think I'm piloting the first ever sort of virtual experience. I interviewed and applied during COVID. And during my interview, they had said, well, we can't wait to have you in Philadelphia. This is going to be so great. It's going to be so amazing. And I said, actually, I have an idea. The global pandemic is happening. What if I continued my work in Michigan and we just continued giving me virtual instruction? So I'm very happy to still be here and getting the education there.
Aidan is the recipient of the City of Jackson's Youth Citizen of the Year, Jackson Black Excellence We See You Award. That was just last week.
Recently.
State of Michigan's Youth Volunteer of the Year, and the University of Michigan's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Service Award. Wow. And how old are you?
I am 25.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's awesome. Yeah,
I appreciate
that's a
you
lot.
both.
Very successful. That's why I asked you, do you have aspirations at public office down the road, maybe at a higher level? Is that something you're considering?
Absolutely. I think when we talk about the experience of Jackson, I've seen so many different pieces of what it means to be a Jacksonian. And I was telling Karen earlier that Jackson is a space in which, for context, I was also tapped by the governor to help lead population growth efforts here in the state of Michigan. Jackson was a topic of discussion. Jackson is a space that has always had a collective perseverance. But I think what separates us as a community is that we have also had tremendous follow through to back up the claims that we are the place to be. You should move here. You should move your families here. And when I think about what it means to have grown up here, I was hugely, hugely involved in volunteerism and community, sort of activism efforts. I know what it's like to benefit from the systems and schools in place here from a public level as well. And I just think about, again, those people on the corner of 2nd and Middle Street, them having accurate and fair and whole representation. But also I'd love to represent your interests as well. I'm very, very fortunate to be in a position to where this is a conversation.
Sure.
But I just hope that the people continue to trust me to help as much as I can. And I had said when I was first elected that I will always do my best. That's all I can offer.
Yeah, and you're right. All these things that have happened that Jackson is now proud of, it didn't just happen by itself automatically. No. It was a lot of hard work. So at Google, could you move JTV up to the top of this?
Yeah, can you get us a couple ad credit or something?
Yeah, I'll make some calls. I feel even that was something of when I did an internship at Google, and it was virtual. We were the first ever remote class of interns because of COVID. It was quite wild, as I'm sure you can imagine. Afterwards, when I got there a full-time offer, they wanted to send me either to New York or Boulder or Mountain View in California. And I had to just press and beg in order for them to keep me in the Ann Arbor office. So I feel very fortunate that we're still here in Michigan, still stone's throw away, because I believe in what we're doing here.
I saw you talking with Jacob and Asensio the other day, and I think the two of you have a lot in common where you have got a lot of passion for the community and really have both accomplished quite a bit. And there are people that say, watch these two guys. They'll be, who knows, maybe presidents someday. Do you have any, because you are working politically and representing the state in some different panels and commissions, any political aspirations? Sure.
I think when we talk politics, it feels like the most natural entity for me to inspire and affect real change. I think, one of my friends and mentors is Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, and I see how he is able to stick with a vision that is uniquely and authentically his and push and really drive initiatives that are in line with that. And he gets to help so many people. For me, that's something that I would aspire to.
Yeah, so pay attention.
I am paying attention. That's why I've asked 3 follow-ups on that.
I'm trying to. You have to keep me around,
That's
I'm
right.
sure.
You've also been giving back, so that's one of the things. In addition, with being a student, there's financial challenges, but even with all of those responsibilities, you've been giving back. Grow Jackson is an example of an organization that you've been working with and supporting and volunteering. What about giving back, particularly in your own hometown, why is that important to you at this young age?
Oh my goodness, especially, talking Jacob and Grow Jackson. I remember when he had first called me with the idea in its infancy. And, you get a number of those calls to where I'd said, yeah, Jacob, that sounds great. Call me in 6 months. Just to when I see if the energy is still there. It absolutely was, right? And so when I joined as a board member, beyond just the sort of strategy and financial planning, we would regularly go to events. And with that, and we were literally putting our hands in the soil. We're helping produce food for our community members. For me, it's something that education piece feels critical. These are foods and these are systems of care that I did not have growing up. And so to be able to just pass that down generationally, right, from the parents to the children, just feels so special to me.
That's great. The community is really proud of you. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
I'm so
Aidan.
appreciative.
Aidan Sova was with us today on the morning show. I will be talking about hockey again coming up next. Stay tuned.